Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Cavell. Commissioner Charles.
Present.
Commissioner Gershenson.
Here.
Commissioner Gingell. Commissioner Hoffman. Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Joliet.
Present.
Commissioner Kokendorfer.
Here.
Commissioner Kowal.
Here.
Commissioner Kuhn. Commissioner Long.
Here.
Commissioner Lubes.
Here.
Commissioner Markham. Commissioner McGillivray.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner Moss.
Here.
Commissioner Nelson.
Here.
Commissioner Powell. Here. Commissioner Spiz.
Present.
Commissioner Weipert.
Here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Commissioner Kuhn. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. This morning's invocation is going to be delivered by the Honorable Angela Powell, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So I will call on Commissioner Powell for the invocation. Yes. Yeah, I get it. Uh-huh. So if commissioners can please rise for the invocation and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. I gotta breathe. I've been running around all morning. If everyone can bow their heads. Heavenly Father, I hope and pray everyone is having a blessed day despite what you're going through. We are living in times we must stay prayed up, protected, and take nothing personal. I'm sending a special prayer asking God to give joy for those who are sad, peace for those who may be overwhelmed, direction for those who may feel lost, and love for those that feel alone. We are all here to be a blessing to each other. Everyone stay safe, stay blessed. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and I apologize.
Thank you very much. I'll move us next to approval of the agenda, and I'll call on Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to request suspension of the rules for items 10G, 10H under the consent agenda, and 13A under our regular agenda. These items were taken up within the last 5 days.
Moved by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner Cavell. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the agenda is adopted unanimously. And now we'll bring us to communications. And I skipped over the minutes. I apologize. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes dated November 17th, 2022? Moved by Commissioner Gingell, seconded by Commissioner McGillivray. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the minutes have been adopted unanimously. And next, we're going to move to communications. And this first one, and it doesn't happen very often, and I think it's an opportunity to recognize members of our board as we recognize their service. And so I'd like to call Commissioners Gingell and Spiz to the podium with me. Okay, to kick off this, I mean, as we recognize the service of colleagues of ours that have worked together for years, in some cases many, many, many years, to make this county great. One thing about Oakland County, that regardless of what side of the aisle that you serve on, you are committed to improving the lives of the people that call Oakland County home. And that has been a steadfast priority and principle that this body has governed, in a way this body has governed since I know I've been involved and throughout history. Today that we recognize the service of a number of commissioners that will conclude their service on this board. but there's no question that we'll continue to make incredible contributions to make our community great. So I'm going to start off and call on Commissioner Kokendorfer to come up here to the podium, and with a little technology. Oh. Look at that.
Have the filter on.
Up to the podium. And so, I'll kick this off, and then obviously our colleagues and then any other commissioners that may have some additional words to do. But we are recognizing the incredible service of Commissioner Adam Kokendorfer. Whereas on special occasions, we recognize dedicated and hardworking public servants such as Adam L. Kokendorfer, who have committed themselves to improving the quality of life in their communities and across Oakland County. And whereas Commissioner Kokendorfer has represented the residents of Rochester and a portion of Rochester Hills on the Oakland County Board of Commissioners since being appointed in 2015. Wow, that was a long time ago. A pandemic.
Say Adam. If you say Adam, the speech will go fast.
There we go. All right. He was elected in 2016, and in his 3 full terms as a commissioner, he's made significant impacts on his district and this county. He served as a member of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee and the Local Road Improvement Program Special Committee. He has fought tirelessly to improve electrical infrastructure, boost road funding, combat opioid abuse, and advocate for clean drinking water and gun safety in schools. Further, he traveled to Washington, D.C. during his tenure and met with federal officials to discuss infrastructure needs and provide a local view on public policy changes.
Whereas Adam, previous experience in elected office includes his work on the Rochester Hills City Council, where he served for 4 years and worked collaboratively with the mayor to help the city recover from the Great Recession. And whereas professionally, Commissioner Kokendorfer is Associate General Counsel for a global automotive supplier, where he serves as lead counsel for the North American business. He earned a doctorate from the University of Michigan Law School and worked previously with Honigam, how do I say that? Honigam. I'm not going to say it right. Where he's selected as one of the firm's youngest partners, and Wolfson Bolton. He's been selected numerous times as one of Michigan's rising stars by Super Lawyers magazine and named as a top lawyer by D-Business. He is a member of the Oakland County Executives Oakland Together Under 40 class of 2014. A lot of words there. A program that recognizes the positive impact young professionals like Adam make on the county, and in the recipient of the Oakland University's Young Alumnus of the Year Award and the Pro Bono Spirit Award from the Legal Aid and Defender Association. And whereas Commissioner Kokendorfer has generously donated his time and talents to many local causes and organizations, including the Rochester Hills Green Space Advisory Board and the District Study Committee, the Rochester Rotary Club, and the Crittenden Hospital Charitable Giving Committee, both of which he served on the board of directors for, and the Oakland University Alumni Association, the Rochester Regional Chamber of Commerce, and the Rochester Area JCs. In addition, he founded the Kokendorfer Endowment Fund, a scholarship award program open to undergraduates majoring in political science, public administration, or international relations at Oakland University. And whereas Commissioner Kokendorfer and his wife Lauren have 2 young daughters, now therefore be resolved, David T. Woodward, Chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with the Vice Chairman Marcia Gershenson, Republican Caucus myself, and Democratic Caucus Chair Kristen Nelson, along with the entire Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim special commendation to Commissioner Adam L. Kokendorfer, and we wish him the best in all his future endeavors.
Did they walk past Ryan?
I just want to say one thing. It's been an absolute pleasure to serve with Adam on this board. Always willing to roll up his sleeves, without question, recognized by his peers as one of the top legal minds that I've had the opportunity to work with. I've seen him in other capacities, whether in the halls of Lansing and working in his respective community. Always rolling up his sleeves to get involved and be part of this community. And it's been an honor. Don't be a stranger, and you're always welcome back here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I always thought this would be embarrassing, and it is, so thank you. You know, I was first elected to public office over 11 years ago. And so first, thank you, thank you, thank you to the residents of Rochester and Rochester Hills. It has been an honor to serve you. And of course, thank you to my wife, Lauren, and our daughters, Claire and Elise, who was not my wife and were not my daughters 11 years ago. Our girls didn't exist 11 years ago. I met Lauren through politics, and selfishly, it's the best thing that I ever received from this gig, bar none. And she used to be a pretty good Republican fundraiser. You guys should be happy she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Everybody won throughout the whole thing, you know? So what can I say? What have I learned? I concluded maybe a year and a half ago that I couldn't serve my community best in politics. I made that decision before our friendly redistricting process. It was the privilege of a lifetime to serve, and I have a lot of respect for anyone who continues to do so. It's an honorable calling, but it's not mine, at least not long term. I learned one other thing, or at least I was probably reminded of it. In this hyper-partisan world, we have sides that are so entrenched, and they're so strident, and so full of near religious conviction in their political beliefs. But there are very few heroes or villains in politics. They don't really exist for the most part. Instead, I think everyone I've ever met has a genuine belief that their views on government's role will lead to the greater good. It's authentic. And those strong beliefs can sometimes lead to bad behavior. Some people can justify a lot of things when they've convinced themselves they're on the side of the angels. But the subjective conviction that they are trying to better our community is real. I'm convinced of it. I know it. We like to pretend otherwise. Each side likes to point to one or two people in the other party as extreme examples that represent everybody else in that party. It's not a serious position. There are approximately 520,000 elected officials in the United States. If you think that one individual mirrors all the views of a couple 100,000 people, that's just as unreasonable as anything you're accusing the other party of. And none of this is to say that politics don't matter. Quite the opposite. If you look at all the votes that I've taken over 11 years, the vast majority were unanimous. We see that in this room. But a small minority were not. And those differences were important and real. I strongly believe that some of the positions of the other party are detrimental to Oakland County residents, regardless of socioeconomic status, race, community, or any of the other ways we divide ourselves. And I've been very vocal when some of those issues have come up here. Unsurprisingly, the other party thinks that some of my positions are not in the best interest of Oakland County residents. Good. We should have those full-throated debates. We owe that to the citizens. So where's that all leave us? If we're going to fight like hell over a small pool of important issues, why does it matter that we keep in mind that each person is acting with good intent? Well, first, there are a lot of areas where we do agree, and we need to work together on those areas of overlap. But second, and I think even more importantly, I think it protects our hearts. I think it helps inoculate us from the anger and antipathy that is constantly trying to infect us every day. Inventing villains and serving God are two full-time jobs. You can't do both. We all have to make our choices. But in the past 11 years, it has become startlingly clear which choice leads to the more perfect union. It's the one where we honestly confront our differences, leverage our similarities, and respect the humanity that underscores both. That is the way forward. It's been an honor. Thank you.
So, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, your service award and proclamation. Yes, inside. Thank you. Hi, you have a special guest. It's timing. I was gauging timing. Another round of applause. So, Kuhn's not here. So, all right, next we'd like to call up Commissioner Kowal. And do we need a chair? Okay, you're fine? Okay. Yeah. Commissioner Kowal, who has served our county in incredible capacity, has served our state incredible capacity. We have been the residents of Oakland County have been so fortunate to have someone working for them every single day. And there's no question that her contributions to the community will continue. We want to recognize her for her great service to this county. Without question, she's left an incredible impression. And so I'll start reading off, this proclamation, whereas for 2 decades, Eileen Kowal has faithfully represented the voices and hearts of her constituents while making strides to improve the quality of life in Oakland County and the state of Michigan. Whereas Commissioners Kowal's introduction to elected office came in 2004 when she was voted to serve on the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. She was reelected in 2006, and over the course of 2 terms, Commissioner Kowal chaired the Republican caucus, served as vice chair of the Finance Committee, and was a member of the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. And in 2008, where the voters of the 44th State House District elected Commissioner to the State House and was reelected in 2010 and 2012. And during those years, Commissioner Kowal helped make difficult decisions to guide Michigan through the Great Recession and lead the state's comeback. She chaired the Republican caucus and was a member of the Appropriations Committee and several other subcommittees. She is also a member of the Midwest Council of State Government, where she serves as chair of Economic Development and the Michigan Commission on Human Trafficking, serving on the Legislative and Victim Service Committee.
Whereas Commissioner Kowal was elected a 2nd time to serve on the County Commission in 2016. She has served as minority vice chair of the Finance Committee, as a member of the Airport Committee, on numerous Lake Board committees, and as a Republican leadership member of the Oakland County Human Trafficking Task Force. She also served as vice chair of the Senior Healthy Aging Ad Hoc Committee, and we got to find a way to make some of these committees' names shorter. Yeah. And as a member of the COVID-19 Veterans Relief Program Oversight Committee, an advocate of safety issues. Commissioner Kowal spearheaded a multimedia distracted driving awareness campaign in April of 2022, reaching thousands of drivers and social media users throughout the month. Further, Commissioner Kowal sits on the board of Michigan's Association of Counties as first vice president. And whereas Commissioner Kowal's additional political experience includes service as chair of the 11th Congressional Republican Committee, and she has been a precinct delegate since 1998. She currently serves on the Oakland County Republican Club Executive Committee and is a member of the Michigan GOP, the Oakland County Republican Party, and the North Oakland County Republicans, and the Michigan Republican Assembly. And whereas Commissioner Kowal holds a dental hygiene degree from the University of Detroit and practiced in that field for more than 15 years before pursuing elected office. Her previous experience also includes work as a design and sales representative for Accurate Woodworking, a family business she co-owned. She is a graduate of the Michigan Excellence in Public Service Series and a Bohe Institute of Legislative Leadership Development Fellow. And whereas countless community organizations have benefited from Commissioner Kowal's involvement, including Pontiac, Waterford Elks Lodge 810, Huron Valley Optimist Club, Michigan Lakes Area Right to Life, Church of the Holy Spirit, White Lake Highland Business Association, Huron Valley and Waterford Chambers of Commerce, Waterford and White Lake Historical Societies, the National Rifle Association, and Michigan Coalition of Responsible Gun Owners. And whereas Commissioner Kowal and her husband of 48 years, Mike, have lived in White Lake Township since 1981. They have 2 adult daughters and 2 grandchildren. Now therefore, David T. Ward, Chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with Vice Chairwoman Marsha Gershenson, Republican Caucus Chair Michael Spiz, I should know how to read my name myself, and Democratic Caucus Chair Kristen Nelson, along with the entire Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim special accommodations to Commissioner Eileen T. Kowal. We thank her for her service and wish her the best in the future.
Wow. Well, Adam, did you bring the speech you wrote for me? Tell me you didn't forget it. Okay. No, actually, it's been really just a very humbling honor to serve the citizens of Michigan and particularly Oakland County for the last 20 years. When I was first elected in 2002, I was just like a wide-eyed newbie, and you know, I learned so much, and then when I went to the state legislature, I felt so much better prepared in learning what I learned at Oakland County. And part of the reason I went there was because, you know, you get tired of the state, you know, doing the unfunded mandates and telling you what to do. I enjoyed serving in the state legislature, although at one point I was so frustrated at trying to get anything done. You had to convince 56 Republicans, or representatives, 19 senators, and a governor that you have the best idea ever, and that doesn't happen very often. So I decided at one point I was going to run for Empress of the Universe and skip over everybody. And then somebody told me, well, you don't run for Empress of the Universe, you just declare yourself. Which I did, and we can see how that worked out. But anyway, I have really, really loved serving. One of the most important parts of this to me is that it's what you do individually to help people. You know, you can go to Lansing and pass laws all day long, but it's when somebody calls your office and they really need your help with a state agency, or even like as a county. How many of us had people calling looking for help with unemployment during the pandemic? So that is the best part of the job. That and the kids, you know, March is reading month, and going to the schools and reading to kids and having them on the House floor. It's just been a great, great experience. 20 years of public service, I don't think that's too shabby. And the last, I mean, they say, "May you live in interesting times," and God, do we live in interesting times? You know, sometimes could they be a little bit less interesting? So the challenge with the pandemic and everything that we all rose up and faced and got through that. I'm sure we have many other challenges facing us, and I do hope that, you know, I'm leaving the county in good hands. I think we have different philosophies on governing. That's quite obvious. We do agree on a lot of things, but I guess I'm one of those that feel that government is not the be-all and the end-all and the answer to everything. And I think that's something that people that are involved in government need to keep first and foremost. It's like, what do we really need to do to help people, and then let's let people live their lives. So I'm sure there's a lot more I could probably say, but right now I'm just, it's kind of a sad day for me, but maybe I am ready for a little bit of, I'm going to take a little step back for a while, but I'll continue to be involved. I'm sure we'll be seeing each other again, and thank you for all. Oh, and I want to thank my family. Gosh, I almost forgot. Got to thank my family, because, well, my husband and I have supported each other through the years, and we feel each other's pain, and we support each other, and our two daughters have just been wonderful. It's been a real sacrifice for them. Anybody who's in politics knows that the family pays a pretty heavy price for that, and our two daughters just have been wonderful, marvelous. And even like when my sisters pitched in to help take care of my parents, because I had such an unpredictable schedule, and when mom and dad got old and infirm and needed a lot of care, they stepped in to do that so I could continue on in this position. So I really, really, really appreciate my family and my kids, and I'm looking forward to more time with the grandkids and just enjoying life in general. Thank you very much, and good luck in the future. Thank you.
Another round of applause for the service of Commissioner Cole. Yeah. All right, next up, I want to call up Commissioner Moss to recognize someone that can make any meeting more enjoyable with his humor, with his insight, with his institutional knowledge of everybody. Commissioner Moss is probably one of the public services that I know the most. that as a commissioner, and then went off the State House, and then came back, like Commissioner Kowal to the commission. And there's no question that your impact on this governing body and impact on Oakland County is felt, and we felt for generations because of your contributions and your work ethic, and your love for this county. And so with that, I want to read this proclamation.
You're going to read the whole thing?
We're going to read the whole thing, just like we're doing for everyone.
I never read the whole thing.
Okay, well, we're reading the whole thing. Whereas, in an honor to celebrate the long history of public service performed by dedicated individuals such as Chuck Moss, who leveraged their knowledge and experience to elevate the standard of living for the people they represent, and whereas Commissioner Moss's first experience as an elected official came when he served on the Birmingham City Council as Mayor Pro Tem beginning in 1997 and then Mayor in 2000. In 2001, he was elected to serve the people of his district on the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. During his tenure on the County Commission, Commissioner Moss was chair of the Finance Committee and was a board member of the Michigan Association of Counties and SEMCOG. In 2006, Commissioner Moss was elected to represent the 40th District in the Michigan House of Representatives. He served from 2007 to 2012 and was chair of the Appropriation Committee from 2011 to 2012. Whereas in 2020, Commissioner Moss was elected a second time to the Board of Commissioners, coming back home, to represent the people of District 12, which includes Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills, and a portion of Bloomfield Township. And during his tenure, he's been a member of the Finance Committee, a bipartisan body that plays a pivotal role on the economic stewardship of shaping the county budget and overseeing the appropriation of COVID-19 relief funds to businesses, individuals, communities, and organizations.
Whereas a practicing attorney, broadcaster, and freelance writer, Commissioner Moss has appeared in publications nationwide, from the Oakland Press to the Wall Street Journal. He was an editorial page columnist at the Detroit News, and his broadcasting career includes hosting the talk show radio on WXYT and co-hosting the Emmy-nominated Detroit Public Television program Back to Back. He received a bachelor's degree from the James Madison School at Michigan State University and then attended the University of Detroit of Law, earning his Juris Doctorate. Commissioner Moss has been a member of the State Bar of Michigan for more than 4 decades. And whereas Commissioner Moss' additional experience includes membership on the Oakland County Public Transit Authority over the past 30 years, including 3 tenures as chair. He also served as an Oakland County representative to the Regional Transit Authority from 2013 to 2020. He is a member of the Rotary Club of Birmingham, the Birmingham Senior Men's Club, and the Birmingham Optimist Club. And whereas Commissioner Moss lives in Birmingham with his wife Alice, and they have 2 adult daughters. Okay, I was wondering if they were going to mention this part. A passionate advocate for and lover of dogs, the Mosses have 3 dash hounds and support canine rescue groups. Now therefore, David T. Werber, Chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with Vice Chairwoman Marsha Gershenson, Republican Caucus Chair Michael Spiz, and Democratic Caucus Chair Kristen Nelson, along with the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim commendation to Commissioner Chuck Moss. We wish him the best in his future endeavors. Thank you, Commissioner Moss.
The mic. You asked for it. All right. You didn't mention president and founder of the Birmingham Dachshund Club. I know we're getting to the holidays, but I don't think it's Festivus, so there'll be no airing of grievances. I guess I'm not the Senate Majority Leader. All right. It's great to be here. It's great to look around and see you all. And I got to say, I'm looking at the pictures here, and none of them from my first time around. I was a lot younger and a lot handsomer then, had more hair. And by the way, this is coming off today, so don't worry. You should have seen the other guy. It's interesting, you look out and I see all the faces here. I see people I know. I see people I've served with. I see a lot of people over the years, among others, right over, I think, where I'm sitting, was a young newbie out of Ferndale. Good to see County Executive David Coulter. Stand up. Stand up, David. Yeah, there he is. There's a lot of things in this chamber, a lot of people, and come and gone. One was Bill Bullard, of course, and one of the things Bill Bullard said, he was in Lansing pre-term limits, and he was in the House, he was in the Senate before he came back here. And I asked him when I was first in Lansing, you walk into the Capitol building, and you just feel this sense of awe and this sense of just weight of history here and responsibility. And I said, now when does that go away? And he said, never. It never goes away. And that's about the same thing for here. as you walk in. I mean, this is I've talked about, over the years, sort of the architectural stuff about it, but this is really, when you get right down to it, a 60-year-old chamber, and it's seen an awful lot of history. And as the gifted sports writer, I'll give him that, Mitch Albom once wrote a column I never forgot. And he said, being a sports writer in Detroit, they come and they go. He said, that's the bottom line. They come and they go. And they might come with great fanfare, and they might do a season or two. It might be a Mark Fidrick, who's got a couple of good ones, or it could be a Stevie Eiserman or a Gordie Howe, who's around forever, but they come and they go. And everybody comes, and everybody does their thing here, and some contribute. And also, I remember standing, I think, at this very podium, when Coleman Young died, which was a while ago. That was like the Berlin Wall falling, and there was a breath of fresh air. And we had the young, dynamic mayor of Detroit, who was Kwame Kilpatrick. It shows that you can't build any kind of a tower on a rotten foundation. The numbers of people that have come, but the one I remember once again is Bullard, and they come and they go. And I've been here, it's been great. I'll tell you one thing though. I know that one thing I do every year is I reread The Lord of the Rings, the book, I really do. And I just finished it yesterday. So I have one quote, I'm gonna do that, get out of your hair. People are asking me, what am I gonna do? And that's a good question, I don't know, we'll have to see. No reasonable offer refused. But basically, this is it, to the end. And as Frodo and Sam are riding down to meet the elves and Bilbo and off to the havens, Frodo was singing softly the old walking song, but the words were not quite the same. Still round the corner there may wait a new road or a secret gate. And though I oft have passed them by, a day it will come when I shall take the hidden paths that run west of the moon, east of the sun. I'll see you all later. Oh, Frodo, yes, great, thank you. Frodo.
We are. I'm just gonna read Tom's, and then we want to do. Well, let me read Tom's, and then I want to welcome the executive up who's making a special guest appearance to address our commissioners that are, leaving this chamber. Commissioner Tom Kuhn is not able to be with us today, but he's certainly not going to be going very far away, having won his election to the State House. And so we look forward to continuing to working in a different capacity, looking out for Oakland County's interests, but continuing the same commitment. Tom is someone, when I was getting into politics and public service, he served on the city commission in Royal Oak, where I live, and our careers have kind of gone parallel tracks, then contrary paths, and it's been an adventure, but again, and also a testament of the valuable contributions that residents of this county are willing and committed to working to improve their community. So we want to read this for the record, this proclamation to Tom Kuhn for his service, whereas Tom has served his constituents at both the community and county level for nearly 3 decades. And on a special occasion, we recognize and honor his commitment and hard work. Whereas first elected to the Royal Oak City Commission in 1989, I graduated high school in 1994. So it's like I've known Tom a very long time. Commissioner Kuhn was reelected 3 times, dedicated a total of 12 years. In 2004, he was elected to the Oakland Community College trustee in a countywide race, and then reelected in 2010. In his 12 years as trustee, Commissioner Kuhn served 2 as chair. Whereas in 2018, Commissioner Kuhn was elected to represent the people of the District 11, which includes portions of Auburn Hills, Rochester Hills, and Troy, and the Oakland County Board on the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Here he has served on several important committees and helped guide county operations through the COVID-19 pandemic, including on the public health and safety, pandemic response and economic recovery, CARES government operation oversight, CARES city, village, and township oversight, and the CARES small business recovery oversight committees. He's a member of the Special Committee on Invasive Species Prevention and the Charnwood Lake Board, and served on the Celebration of Women's Suffrage Ad Hoc Committee. And
Whereas professionally, Commissioner Kuhn has practiced law, representing clients in civil litigation in state and federal courts at the trial and appellate levels for over 35 years. He is a member of the State Bar of Michigan and holds several educational credentials, including bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees in political science from the University of Toronto, as well as a Juris Doctorate from the Detroit College of Law. And whereas Commissioner Kuhn has lent his experience in advance and advocated for the needs of his neighbors while serving on a variety of boards and commissions, including the Planning Commission, Recycling Commission, Master Plan Steering Committee, Asset Management Committee, Retirement Board, and others for Royal Oak. Further, he has helped develop the skills of young athletes as a community volunteer and longtime coach in boys basketball, girls softball, and co-ed soccer. He served a decade on the Emerald Lakes Village Homeowners Association Board and was a member of the Friends of the Troy Public Library, the Rochester Hills Museum, the Rochester Regional Chambers Legislative Affairs Committee, and the Stage Nature Center. In recognition of his commitment and generosity, he was honored with the Outstanding Volunteer for Leadership Troy in 2014. And whereas a lifelong Oakland County resident, Commissioner Kuhn has been married to his wife, Dr. Sherry Cormier Kuhn, a retired special education teacher for more than 25 years. They have 3 adult children and 4 grandchildren. Now, therefore, David T. Woodward, Chairman of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, together with Vice Chairwoman Marsha Gershenson, Republican Caucus Chair Michael Spiz, and Democratic Caucus Chair Kristen Nelson, along with the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim special commendation to Commissioner Tom Kuhn. We wish him the best in all his future endeavors.
Tom can watch this later. We look forward to working with you in the coming term. With that, I would like to welcome someone who's had the honor to serve with most of the people we're recognized this morning when he served on this Board of Commissioners and now serves and leads this county as our county executive. Everyone give a warm welcome to Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter.
Thanks, guys. Well, Mr. Chair, thank you for sort of a point of personal privilege. As I was on my way back to the office when I realized, oh, this is the last day, which means there's going to be some folks that are leaving us today. And it got me thinking back to my last county commission meeting, because there were a lot of fireworks at it. A lot of important things get decided in this room. The issue of the day when I served in my last meeting was, should we allow the city of Pontiac to contract with the sheriff's department and replace their police department? As you can imagine, there were a lot of passions on both sides of the issue. I'm pleased to say that I think that has worked out for the best for the people of Pontiac. But it reminded me that there are a lot of difficult and challenging issues that face this board. And I appreciate that you have done it in good faith and in partnership where you can. When I stood before you 3 years ago and said that I wanted to act in a bipartisan way, I think you took me up on it, and I want to say I believe that it has been respected. I think about Bill Patterson, for Eileen and Chuck, I know you remember, and Christina, and he used to say when things got really heated in here, look, folks, we can disagree without being disagreeable. And that sort of became the mantra of our board. And I want to say I appreciate the board's cooperation and the things that we've done for the last 3 years. But specifically today, I want to say thank you to Commissioner Moss and Commissioner Kowal, both of whom I had the pleasure of serving with on the board, and also Adam, although we didn't get a chance to serve together, I know that you have acted with my administration in a spirit of cooperation. And that's what people expect out of government, and I still believe, even in these challenging, polarizing times, that we can be a model for other legislative bodies and other units of government for how to do this in a way that takes after the people's business. So I just wanted to stop in and say, and especially to my 2 friends who I served with, but Adam as well, you know, your fingerprints are all over this place. Your policies are all over this place. Some of them we're changing, some of them we're keeping. But that's politics, but that's just politics. Personally, I wish you all the best in whatever your next chapters are, and just know that you have a fan in me. So thanks for your service for all these years. Thanks, you guys.
Can we bring the 3, Commissioner Kowal, Kokendorfer, and Moss to come up here to...
that part. Oh.
Okay. We have a few other communications, so I will call on the clerk to read those communications.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, the first of four is dated December 5th. It's an email to Joseph Roselle, Oakland County Director of Elections, as well as the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Joe, I hereby tender my resignation to the Oakland County Board of Canvassers effective December 9th, 2022. Thank you for this opportunity. I have learned so much. I wish your entire elections team well. Sincerely, Bob Copes. Secondly, dated December 8th, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, members of the board, please accept this letter as notification that I've exercised the authority granted to the chairperson of the board to approve grant applications in excess of $50,000 for the purposes of meeting a submission deadline. Due to the grantor deadlines in the board's grant submission process and calendar, it was not possible to submit the application for full board consideration in accordance with our normal procedures. The application was reviewed by all appropriate county departments. I have authorized the submission of the following grant application: the Medical Marijuana Operation and Oversight Grant in the amount of $452,052. The grant application deadline is January 1st, 2023. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Thirdly, dated December 8th, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, I am hereby appointing the following individuals to the Oakland County Personnel Appeal Board for a term ending December 31st, 2023. Commissioner David Woodward, Commissioner William Miller. Your confirmation of these appointments is respectfully requested. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. And finally, memo to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners from Commissioners Gershenson, Spiz, and Cavell, dated December 6th. Regarding the Oakland County Gun Buyback Pilot Grant Program 2022. Attached, please find a report detailing the outcomes of the Oakland County Gun Buyback Pilot Grant Program. This program was an initiative of a trio of commissioners who worked with 7 police department partners as well as individual volunteers in anti-violence and safety organizations. It was made possible using funds allocated from the Board of Commissioners Special Project Fund. On October 22nd, 2022, with the assistance of personnel from 7 police departments, and during a 4-hour period of time, 353 weapons, including 5 assault rifles, were collected at 4 different Oakland County sites. Details and descriptions are available in the attachment. It is our intention to share this pilot program outcome report with the Board of Commissioners and to request the formal establishment of this interest group as a study group for the 2023-2024 board term. We feel strongly that additional thought and effort should be directed towards setting up a permanent gun buyback program and to building additional anti-violence and gun safety initiatives. Your attention is appreciated and input is welcome. Mr. Chair, that concludes communications.
Thank you very much. And I just want to bring attention to the typo in the appointment to the personnel, not personal, appeals board. So if you can just make, I think that was mentioned earlier this morning. We just want to make sure that for the record that it's named the correct thing. Is there a motion to receive and file, receive those communications? Moved by Commissioner Miller, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of receiving those communications, approving those communications, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the communications are received unanimously. I also want to make, well, actually, I'll do it under announcements. This brings us to the public comment portion of our meeting. This is the opportunity for members of the public to come and speak on items on the consent and regular agenda. I ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. We have a little clock up here to help gauge. If there, please address your comments to me, the chair. No personal attacks on commissioners. This is not a Q&A session. This is an opportunity for the public to address the board on items on the consent and regular agenda. For those who signed up, you don't have to sign up, but for people who, I'm going to start with those who did sign up, and I'll call on Robert Pulowski. If you can share your community of residents, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Plowski. I'm from Southgate, Wayne County, and I represent the RTA, Regional Transit Authority Citizens Advisory Committee of Michigan. I'm coming in regards to the Transit Division that was on the agenda yesterday for the Economic Development Committee. I was unable to make that, but there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of support for it. So I'm coming in today for support and thanking Chief of Staff, I'm not sure if she's here, Chief of Staff Hillary Chambers for the proposal and the working with the SMART board and the CEO Dwight Farrell, and also working with, all the public, the board members to really get this together. But not just with the transit division, we can also try to work together and form a transit committee with Oakland County residents, following the roundtable discussions that we had with the county executive and our organization over at Transportation Riders United, to really keep the conversation what transportation means to Oakland County residents. Like everybody said, county, out of county, it's very essential to the community. I mentioned that at the 17th meeting back in November, and what we see now is an approval process and a public engagement that's going to really start picking up in 2023, and a lot of people are going to be excited to see it. A lot of people are excited to see the proposed outlines when you guys voted back on it in August, and now with this transit division, we potentially have a committee that will work together to really push the transit needs in this community and also work with the public and also possibly form a committee to really get this engagement going. But as always, thank you for the time and opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that would like to address us during public comment on any items on the consent or regular agenda? Seeing none, I will close the first public comment. There is a second public comment for folks to speak on any other topic not covered. Okay, that will move us to reports of standing committees. And I'll start with the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Lube, seconded by Commissioner Joliet. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, will you please prompt the vote? This is the consent agenda. No problem.
Mr. Chair, there are 20 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The consent agenda is adopted. That will move us to our regular agenda, and I will call on Commissioner Miller as the Chair of Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee to come to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have one item on the agenda from the Economic Development Infrastructure Committee. It's Economic Development Resolution creation of the Oakland County Transit Division.
Moved by Commissioner Miller, seconded by Commissioner Cavell. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, and just, in part of the public comment that was raised, that this is, this resolution sets the dollars into a dedicated account from the millage that will be collected next year to provide the staff support as well as other professional services to help us in the policy making to roll to fulfill the promises of the Oakland County Transit millage. Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just to be clear, I believe in the millage it set aside funds for roles like this in order to help us administer. Wasn't there administration dollars? So exactly. This is funding that will come from the millage itself, not from general tax purposes. Thank you.
That is correct. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 20 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes my report for the Economic Development Infrastructure Committee 2022.
Thank you very much. I believe all the Finance Committee items were taken up under the consent agenda, and so we'll move to Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee and call on the Chair, Commissioner Kristen Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two items on the regular agenda. The first item, 15A, Oakland County Building Authority appointment. Having considered the upcoming vacancy on the Building Authority, the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee recommends that Jamal Hag be reappointed for the 3-year term beginning January 1st of 2023 and ending December 31st of 2025. Mr. Chair, I move to recommend confirmation of this appointment.
Moved by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Any discussion? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 20 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Nelson.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The last item is item 15B, the Oakland County Parks and Recreation Commission appointment. On behalf of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee, it is recommended that Amanda Herzog be reappointed to a 3-year term beginning on January 1st of 2023 and ending on December 31st of 2025. And Mr. Chair, I move to recommend the confirmation of this appointment.
Moved by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner McGilvery. Is there any discussion on this appointment? Commissioner Long.
Oh, I would just like to say, as a member of Parks and Recreation Commission, Andrea does a very good job, so I'm glad to see her reappointed.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 20 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The appointment is confirmed. Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes the reports of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee.
Great, thank you very much. I will now call on the Chair of the Public Health and Safety Committee, Commissioner Penny Lubes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There are 2 items under Public Health and Safety Committee today. The first is an amendment to the Law Enforcement Service Agreement with the Chartered Township of Lyon.
Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Weipert. Any discussion? Commissioner Cavell.
I just want to say I'm going to be
Can
voting.
you lean into the mic so we can hear you? There you go.
I just want to say I'm going to be voting no for this, and I appreciate the conversation we had in caucus about focusing on perhaps more training to help make sure that whatever law enforcement we have in schools is prepared to serve the children and teachers.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Weipert.
Just as the Lyon is the fastest growing community in the state of Michigan, and Lyon really appreciates the relationship with the Sheriff's Department. So they really support it. We're adding a few more deputies. So they're getting good service, nothing but rants and raves about quality.
Great, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 19 yeas, 1 nay.
Sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Lubes.
Thank you. The second and last item is with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for the fiscal year 2021 Home Investment Partnership American Rescue Plan Program.
Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Cavell. Any discussion? Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I voted no in committee. I'm going to be voting no again today. And my concern is really just around some of the specifics, which, in talking with Shane, I understand the specifics may not be fully resolved at the federal level yet. But ultimately, supporting homelessness and doing something about it's important. I know this county has voted and supported to be an open county, a welcoming county, et cetera. My concern is that by accepting these funds and establishing opportunities for homeless individuals to have shelter, there's no requirement for them to be an Oakland County citizen, a U.S. citizen, to my knowledge. And to me, that's opening up Pandora's box. And at this time, until those things are resolved, that's why I'm voting no.
Thank you. Commissioner Cavell.
I mentioned this in committee, and I just want to make sure we all hear it, just to lift up what we're facing this winter and ongoing, is this money and this plan would go towards helping alleviate the suffering of the 3,000 families that will experience homelessness and the 1,200 people that will literally be on the streets, because currently we have 172 shelter beds in Oakland County, and if we recall, there's 17,000 families that were on eviction prevention that just ended October 1st. And so just in the month of October, in just 3 cities in Oakland County, almost 1,000 families were evicted. We're just beginning to see this wave crest. It's going to get much worse. And I appreciate and applaud this work that's being done, but much more is needed.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Miller, followed by Commissioner Powell.
Well, Commissioner Powell was first. I'll let her go first.
Commissioner Powell, followed by Commissioner Miller.
I just wanted to support Commissioner Cavell and his comments because as a commissioner, I am personally experiencing displaced individuals and assisting these individuals find temporary housing. So this actual plan and program will help us, and I can vouch for placing single mothers with kids between 1 to 8, how many kids they have is 1 to 8 children have been being displaced. So this is going to help, and I am a witness to it. So I just want to share that with my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Chairman. I would say that this is, well, I guess, unless you've had experience living on the street before, you won't understand, like, this is a humane thing. It's not a citizen resident thing. It's a humane thing, and Oakland County is always leading the way, and we need to continue that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 13 yeas, 7 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Lubes.
That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move down to reports of special committees. I will I'm going to move to receive and file the Oakland County Together Lifeline Pilot Program final report from Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner Spiz. Commissioner Nelson, do you want to bring people's attention to you want to speak to is it a receive and file of the report that, that this pilot program produced?
Sure. Just as a little summarized refresher, back in May of 2020, the Social Connectedness Task Force was created with the purpose of identifying solutions to reduce the social isolation and loneliness among the county's senior population. I want to shout out Commissioner Colwell and Commissioner Lubes. All 3 of us sat on this task force, and one of the things that was mentioned in the very first meeting We can give and provide people access to technology, but if we don't provide that training component, then really at the end of the day, it was moot. So I am super happy and thrilled to say that at the conclusion of this 2-year program, there has been much success in connecting seniors to their families and their grandchildren across Oakland County. And I strongly encourage, if you haven't already, to read this summary, because it really is a cool summary with some pretty warm, fuzzy statistics and data that was driven from this pilot project program.
Thank you, Commissioner. And this was truly a great partnership between the Board of Commissioners, our IT division, and other community partners that made it a possibility. Any further questions or discussion on receiving and filing this report? Again, the report is in the packet, and we'll make sure it's posted on the Commissioner's website, the Board of Commissioners website. Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote to receive and file the Oakland County Together Lifeline Pilot Program final report.
Mr. Chair, there are 20 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The report is received unanimously. That's all that's under reports of special committees. There is no special order of business, no unfinished business. Now under new and miscellaneous business, there is one item, and I will recognize Commissioner Gershenson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to introduce miscellaneous resolution adopting supplemental compensation adjustments for county commissioners for the 2023-24 term of office and request a suspension of the rules.
Move to, by Commissioner Gershon, to suspend the rules to take up this item immediately, seconded by Commissioner McGilvery. Mr. Clerk, will you please prompt the vote on suspending the rules?
Mr. Chair, there are 11 yeas, 9 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. Commissioner Gershenson moves the resolution, seconded by Commissioner McGilvery. Any discussion? Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Many different feelings going through me right now about this, but I mean, we're at the last meeting before the end of a term, and I bet if we went back to the agenda that's on our website, this item is not on there, right? It's on our packet and on our tablets here, yes, but it's not on. So the public hasn't even seen this yet. We don't even have people here to make comment on it. So to me, from a transparency perspective, this looks really, really, really bad, right? On top of that, a 16% increase. We're asking for a 16% increase in our base salary to be given to the Board of Commissioners next term. I just find that egregious. 16%, are you kidding me? On top of the 5% we already approved in budget. So now you're looking at a 21% increase for the Board of Commissioners. I don't get it. I will not be supporting this. I can't understand how anybody in this room can support this.
Thank you, Commissioner. I mean, I'll speak to it, and I will be voting yes for this. I mean, I think as commissioners know, but I think also for the public to understand, because the way that state law is structured, there is no other time to do this except in another 2 years. And so given the fact that we do have some significant changes, a reduction of commissioners from 21 to 19, as a result of that, all commissioner districts have grown substantially, representing more area and more communities. Commensurate with that is also the time and role of the commission has leaned into its role in being a co-equal partner in governing, and I think that's demonstrated by the work product that's been produced, particularly over the last many years. And so I'm supporting it. I think it's reasonable, given that the commissioner's responsibilities are going to have to increase regardless, given that representing more people, more constituent service, and more communities. I think this breakdown about $500 a month is more than reasonable. Any further discussion? Commissioner Moss.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So let me get this straight. Y'all's voting yourself an extra raise during lame duck. Well, this is a time-honored tradition from where we're all from, but now I'm leaving, so that's it. But this streams to me like not a great way to do business. But to once again with very little transparency, very little notice. At least it's not the dark of night like it would be in Lansing. But I don't think this is quite kosher. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Commissioner Kowal, followed by Commissioner Cavell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I too have to question the timing of this, and we've gone through the budget process, and there's been plenty of time to do this and without waiting until the last minute. And while I do tend to agree with you that the commission has leaned in a lot more, and we are much more involved, there's a lot more work required. And I do agree with that aspect of things, but then in saying that, and this was self-driven, reducing the number of commission districts and making them larger. So, and this was done 10 years ago, as you know very well, and there was no such compensation provided for at that time. It's like we all got along just fine. So I just question the timing and the need of this right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Cavell.
Yeah. I just want to point out that this is a revenue neutral thing, and then also talking to somebody just a minute ago before we started this meeting, after we talked about this in caucus.
Commissioner Cavell, you got to bring it closer to your mouth.
It's all these germs on the microphone, though, Just saying that this is revenue neutral, and also one thing that got me is at 11 a.m. on Thursdays, I usually have a check-in with my day job boss, but I had to punt that because I have to be here. So I think it's very valid for us to consider the fact that I think this is the first time in our history that this is now going to become a majority day job working board. And also, if you want quality, you got to pay for it. It's capitalism.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Mr. Chair, there are 11 yeas, 9 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. I don't believe there's any other new and miscellaneous business. So I'll bring us to announcements. I want to just give an announcement to commissioners. If you haven't taken the oath of office for the next term, the clerk has the oath book here, and you can do that. We can swear you in at the end of this meeting. And then also remember the other documentation that has to be submitted before the start of the next year. Do it sooner rather than later. Any other announcements? Seeing no further announcements, this will bring us to the second public comment of our board meeting here. And I will just start with the people who signed in. And this is an opportunity to speak on any other topic. The same rules as before. If you can keep your comments to 3 minutes, come to the podium when I call you and name your community of residence. Please direct your comment to me, the chair. And I will start with Phil Lombard from Ferndale. Welcome.
Good morning. My name is Phil Lombard. I live in Ferndale, and I'm a retired military officer. I'm concerned about excessive fees allowed in the Oakland County Jail inmate telecommunications contract awarded to Smart Communications Holding Incorporated. I'll give you a brief description of my concerns, then I'll offer suggestions for the board to consider. The county charges 16 cents a minute for phone calls between inmates and their family and friends. 4 cents goes to the company, 12 cents to the county. There are additional charges to transfer money into the phone account. The jail doesn't allow U.S. postal mail for inmates. Instead, they must view scanned letters, thus lessening the sentimental value of receiving a letter and driving friends and family to use electronic messaging. The county charges 50 cents for an e-message and $1 for an electronic photo. The average stay in jail is just under a month. Can you imagine how much a month's worth of personal email or texting would cost you at 50 cents each? The jail doesn't allow in-person visitation, so visits are done through video. One visit per week is free, and the second costs money if remote. Although one company controls both phone calls and video visits, consumers must pay access fees for 2 separate accounts, which increases both costs to the consumers and profit to the company. The county's service fees range from $0 to $9.95. Someone working a minimum wage job would have to work over an hour just to transfer money in order to speak to somebody in jail. One thing that could be done relatively soon is open up the current contract and lower the 16 cents per minute rate to 8 cents, while the company maintains their 4 cents commission. Another would be to negotiate to lower the e-messaging rate to 25 cents, like Kalamazoo and Livingston counties, which, by the way, allow U.S. postal mail. Now, I have 3 suggestions for what the Commission can do when the county prepares to grant exclusive monopoly contracts. 1, amend the purchasing division policies and procedures so kickbacks or commissions, as they are referred to in the contracts, are eliminated or minimized. 2, require the phrase best price to the consumer in the request for proposals. 3, require that the team evaluating the proposal include a member whose responsibility is to work on behalf of the consumer, so excessive fees are not part and parcel of the contract. If the Commission can make these changes and maybe some others, you will help some of the most economically disadvantaged people in Oakland County, instead of sending loads of money to a company in Florida. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next up, I have Jenna Berg. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Jenna Berg, and I live in Farmington Hills. I work for the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, midnight shift in the main jail for 9 years. This is my partner on mids, Ryan Summers, partner on noons, Joseph Kaji. Ryan lives in Clarkston, Kaji in West Bloomfield. We wanted to come to public comment today to address the whole board and introduce ourselves to all of you, as we've met only a few. I am encouraged that we will be added to the agenda in January. With full support of our union and partners, I am requesting ARPA funds for the deputies and dispatchers of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office for frontline service and dedication to the community during a global pandemic. In August of 21, the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity proposed a plan for how the ARPA money will be spent. Quoting the proposal, this investment of federal dollars provides Michigan with a once-in-a-generation opportunity for transformational investments, end quote. Part of this plan allocated money towards Future for Frontliners. The Future of Frontliners is not only a free college degree, of which most frontliners will never be able to take advantage of. It is an appreciation of sacrifice for the past 2 years. The deputies and dispatchers stepped up daily, even hourly, to ensure the public had access to essential services. Families sacrificed by sending the deputy out of the home during COVID-19. We all work in the jail. Our division is Our division is short-staffed daily. Deputies are working more now than ever before. Back in October of 21, our then undersheriff presented to the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee. During that presentation, he explained that the Corrections Division had 36 vacancies. We currently have around 37. He also explained that deputies were being forced daily on all 3 shifts 7 days a week. He gave examples stemming from corrections, but please understand, the outrageous shortages and forced overtime have been plaguing dispatchers for over a decade. The undersheriff told you that morale was not good, in fact, was the worst he's seen in his career. He also told you that many deputies have quit because there are only so many 16-hour shifts a person can work in a 7-day period. This was over a year ago. COVID-19 has severely impacted our department and my partners. Despite tremendous efforts in recruiting and retaining from the department, please understand our situation has not improved much, and my partners deserve some relief. We need to close the book on COVID-19 and show that Oakland County is the place to come for employment and community unity. We come to you today on the eve of this holiday season. During the holidays, more than ever, we are reminded that the badge is a calling. We work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every weekend, every holiday, every day of the year. The deputies of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office are special, good-hearted people. They come to this job because they believe in what is right. And I am telling you this because these deputies answer the call no matter the day, even in the middle of a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic when the world stayed home. This ARPA request for me covers several issues that we are dealing with as I see it as a deputy on the front lines. More than anything, I truly believe it represents unity between the communities of Oakland County and the police. The feds allocated the money for this purpose: frontline essential worker recovery, job shortages, and workplace morale. We wish you the best blessings of the season. We look forward to being added to the agenda in January in an attempt to say thank you to the deputies and the dispatchers of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. Happy holidays to you all, and Happy New Year. Godspeed.
Thank you very much, deputies. I appreciate you being here. We value you and your contributions, and look forward to continuing the conversation. Next up, I've got Robert Pawlowski again.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, the one thing I came to address you guys, unfortunately, I cannot speak that today. I don't have the information in front of me, but again, my name is Robert Pawlowski. I'm from Southgate and Wayne County. I do have a couple other things I wanted to address in front of you guys today. I had the pleasure to attend the Tri-County Summit, working together with Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties to work on our water and broadband and increase our region to a future step. I had the pleasure to attend with all my Wayne County commissioners, my friends over in Macomb, and all of our commissioners here in Oakland. We had a robust discussion. I appreciate you, Chairman Woodward, for all the public engagement and all the work you've done to work on this broadband and water study. All of our commissioners that form committees, especially Commissioner Markham, on issues regarding broadband and water. I appreciate all the work that has been taken. Our partners in Farmington Hills that have already started this study, even our partners in Detroit. This is just a perfect example of what they're in the works of trying to advance into the future, and we're just getting started here in Oakland, and we're just getting started here in the region. The one thing that really I'm pretty sure brightened up some people's day, and I heard it somewhere in this commission, that we were going to see Don Brown in 4K with those glasses that we were provided at the meeting. So and I believe that was Commissioner Moss. No? Okay. Well, there's a lot of things that we all come together, and this brings me into my next thing to congratulate all the commissioners that will be departing after this meeting today, especially you, Commissioner Moss. There is a lot of acknowledgement here, especially from the county executive that delivered those wonderful words. It's not just the commissioners that really serve this county, it's the people that you serve. And the people really deeply care about the amount of work, the years you put in, and the amount of time and dedication that you've put in. But also welcoming our new commissioners. I had the pleasure to speak with our new commissioner over here at the end of the Tri-County Summit. I really would like to welcome you personally, and I really wish you the best going forward. But as always, thank you for everything that you do for this county, and I look forward to speaking with you guys next year, hopefully with the intentions I come here today. Thank you, and have a good holiday.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to come and speak during public comment, even if you didn't sign up? Seeing none, I will close the second public comment. And with that, I want to wish everyone who joined us in the audience, as well as all our commissioner colleagues, those who are departing the board, and those who are joining the board, a very safe and blessed holiday season. We will stand adjourned until January 12th.
Sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just really quick, I wanted to thank my colleagues for making those donations to the young gentleman, Kentrell Rouser, for his boxing competition. So thank you all. And I also always want to say thank you. I am a support staffer first by my profession, and I just always want to thank our staff. You all do a tremendous job. Happy holidays, and thank you all for everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. I think Commissioner Charles.
Yes, I wasn't sure if I'd get an opportunity to do this. So I just want to shout out Chuck Moss and Eileen Kowal, two people who I'm going to personally miss for all the wisdom and the richness and the historical, institutional knowledge that you guys bring. I'm having a little PTSD thinking about finance next year, where I won't have Chuck's wit and Eileen's vision as far as where we should be going as a community. So just wanted to share that with you if I don't get to say it before the end of the year.
Great. Thank you. And
Thank you. I'm
Commissioner
trying not to cry.
Okay. So with that, we will stand adjourned to January 12th, 2023, or call the chair. Thank you.